This is The Happiness Blueprint, the podcast where we uncover how people build happier lives.
We're with Lily and Sarah from UNE. I guess my name is Peter. I should also introduce myself. Here from UNE APB. Thank y'all for joining us here. I want to dive right into understanding what events y'all put on campus. So I know there's semi-formal, there's some winter events, there's Storm Wave also going on here. What are some of the events you guys put on campus here?
So I was the special events director last year. So I planned semi-formal and winter lighting. So our two bigger events that we had.
Awesome. What was the process for planning those, where I think events of that scale can often get challenging? Was it generally a comfortable process for you? Was it something that you had to really work through? What was kind of the general feeling as you worked through it?
It took a little bit. We started months in advance, and then it just kept building and building until we got a full event plan, which is fun.
Always the goal here. Lily, was your experience kind of the same here?
Yeah, I mean...
Let me slide this even closer to you. No problem at all.
I planned Nor'easter Fest this year, so it's definitely it's a long process. It's ideation, it's talking with other people, it's actually booking vendors, planning for how to get people in and out of the event, all of that. Yeah.
I think the central challenge here is being flexible along the way, where there's what you start with 6 months in advance and what we hope, or a year in advance, however long that process is, and then how the universe changes that as it goes. Do you guys find yourselves succeeding in being flexible? Is that really a challenging thing? How do you kind of navigate when things don't quite go to plan here?
How I kind of think about it is that it's never going to go exactly how you plan or exactly how you envision. So you might, for example, Nor'easter Fest, we were thinking human crane game, picking up stuffed animals, and also bumper cars, that kind of thing. But it turned out that those weren't really feasible or made sense for us. So just being able to be flexible, looking into new ideas, looking into old ideas, just making it a whole process is kind of the...
Yes. I find I enjoy that variability where there is something, of course, you have to be flexible and you have to kind of roll with the punches, so to speak, and they are unfortunately inevitable to have these bumps in the roads. But I find myself almost enjoying watching this kind of materialize and figure out what's possible. Sarah, is that kind of one for you, where it was a challenging process at times, but rewarding to watch it all come together?
Yeah, you're stressing out, leading up to the event, you're not sure how it's gonna go, and then when it's actually done, you're walking through it, it's a different feeling, oh my god, I actually did it.
100%. That feeling of satisfaction is everything. That's why we do all these events, is to get to see all the people happy, get to see all the attendees. What is it like when it all does finally come together and work out? As you go through all these ups and downs, you go through all the bumps in the process, seeing everyone there and seeing everyone happy must just be euphoric. It must be incredible.
It's really satisfying. Even the small things, just seeing people interact with each other, make new friends, do crafts, it makes people really happy, and that's why it's worth it.
Absolutely, yes. Is that kind of your experience as well?
Yeah, you just get to see so many new people, meeting people, doing different things all together, and it's really nice.
It is. I think that's kind of why we do this, right? I think as with UNE-6, we often talk about why do we keep doing this, right? These are long days. And of course, the show days for us are very long, of getting there at 8 a.m. to set up for an event at 8 p.m. the next day. So it's 48 hours of, I guess I'm not the one screwing the trust, or bolting the trust, and putting all these things together, but certainly people are, and they're working very hard at it. I know for you guys, that process starts even earlier on, where there are so many sleepless nights, I assume, where 3 a.m. waking up and going, oh my goodness, I just realized this thing isn't going to work, or oh my goodness, this is exactly how we should do it. To finally put it all together, I feel it must be so rewarding and make it all worth it. Is that kind of what keeps you going through this and makes it all worth doing again as the next year comes up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know personally I got 19,000 steps in the day of the last big event we had. But there are moments where I get to kind of just sit down and watch and enjoy it. And that's what really made it worth it, is just being able to be you let out that sigh of relief of it all finally worked, and people are happy, people are having a good time. It all comes together eventually.
Yes. I'm curious also, you mentioned in the forum here that one of the challenges for you guys is the limited space on campus. So it is great to watch events come together. Sometimes find it hard to figure out where events can be and how they can be. How do you guys kind of navigate it? You mentioned that you're kind of a smaller campus, so it can be competitive at times to figure out what is this challenge? How do you guys kind of navigate it?
Yeah, we really only have our big forum gym, which is the athletics complex. So we're fighting athletic schedules constantly. So we have that one gym, we have a smaller gym where it's a more recreational use, and then we have outside, but being in Maine, you really don't get outside except for the last 2 months of the school year and the first 2 months.
We often talk about New England weather, and then there's Maine weather on top of that, so it's kind of 2 layers of challenge here. How do you guys solve that in the past, where it seems like it's an annual problem that you guys would constantly be trying to go back and forth and navigate? What kind of solutions have you found? I'm sure plenty of people listening will also be working with smaller campuses and facing similar challenges. What are strategies you found to make peace with that, to navigate it, to make it successful?
I think kind of similar to what we already talked about, being flexible. I think also being proactive. So really getting that planning, in getting it just in the process within like 4 or 5 months of the event even. So like for us this year, so a problem that we've had in the past with semi-formal is that anytime we have held it off campus, buses have canceled because of weather. So this year we decided to change like the timing and move it from March to April, which even a month later, weather is very different than in Maine. So we are hoping that that'll have better results for us in terms of busing. Also for like Stormwave, which is our spring concert, or the the name of it, we have to book it. Like we have already booked the space. So like definitely like fighting athletics for that space, or not fighting, but yeah.
It's competitive, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that want to have the space. That's great. It's good to have a space that isn't this demand and desirable.
Yeah.
But it certainly does create some challenges for you guys. Is that one of the bigger challenges of putting on events? Has there been other things that have made events challenging for you that you think other schools may also be facing to the same challenge?
I think something that all schools are kind of facing right now, or at least from my perspective, is there's a lot of distractions. So like everybody has a phone, everybody has access to like any sort of like entertainment or engagement that they want, like at their fingertips, like social media, you know, movies, like, you know, that kind of like TikTok, like all of that. So it's really difficult to kind of be novel enough or be exciting enough that people really want to engage with that. So I think that's something that we've really been trying to like shift our perspective on, like kind of move towards.
That's a really fascinating and common challenge that we see amongst a lot of schools here is like, how do you make an event better than the events they've curated on their phone, right? Like that is why TikTok and some of these apps have been so successful, is they curate exactly what you want, exactly what you didn't know you wanted, and they could feed it to you. So how do you make one event that is universally acceptable here? I think that's a really challenging thing. Of course, rewarding them when we see people off their phones or see them on their phones recording the event going, I think other people need to see this as well. And that feels like a beautiful challenge here. But you're right, it is so tough to get people out of their dorms here. Sarah, how are you trying to like reach people through this, where there is this challenge of trying to create one event for a bunch of people? How are you trying to break through that? How are you trying to access students and make sure that Stormwave is somewhere that they want to be?
Yeah, we're trying, like, we've been reaching out by surveys and like different things, trying to gauge people's opinions on what they want to see, like when do you want to see it, and different things, and like accommodating sports schedules and all that kind of stuff to find a perfect time that works for everybody, because you got tournaments happening and playoffs and whatever, so you never know when anyone's going to be free, and you want to try to reach as many people as you can.
Yeah.
And part of UNE is a massive sports school, so we have like 32 sports, I think, so we want athletes to come. So trying to figure out a time that works for that is like our key.
This episode of the Happiness Blueprint podcast is brought to you by VibeArcs. Goals, budgets, and KPIs can tell you what happened, but they don't tell you how people felt while doing the work. Happiness is the most important metric of all, and it needs a system. VibeArcs is that system for prioritizing your mental health and tracking emotional metrics for individuals, teams, and even projects. Users submit a weekly 2-minute check-in online or in the app for metrics like happiness, stress, and utilization. Then, VibeArcs processes that data into quantified metrics that help spot patterns, celebrate wins, and encourage support where needed. Personally, I loved using VibeArcs with my team at GBM6. It felt like such a great way to check in with myself and make sure I'm hitting both my professional and my personal goals. I especially love that it asks me for 3 things that I'm happy about every week. During busy season, I find that things can feel a little chaotic and stressful, so this has felt like a really great tool to reframe my focus and make sure I'm aware of how many great things are happening around me, even in the most stressful moments. VibeArcs is free forever for individuals, .edu teams, and .org teams. All other organizations can start with a 60-day free trial and then pay just $5 per user per month to build a healthier, happier, and more engaged workplace. Check out the link in our description to get started on your own journey towards a happier personal and professional life. Thank you to VibeArcs for sponsoring today's episode. All right, back to the show. Impossibly challenging. Yeah, we try to coordinate too many challenges and too many interests here. One of the pieces at GM6 I know we often talk about here is like having an artist versus having a DJ show. And of course, the beauty of an artist is that we get the name that can help sell tickets. We're hearing a big announcement in the background. I'm sure everyone is hearing the background as well now. The other leg of that is like the DJ model, which I think we have come to love, where we can play everyone's favorite song, right? We can't have Taylor Swift at our school. I think a lot of people probably love to have her come perform. Not quite in the budget, not quite in the restrictions here, but it's great when we can have a DJ who can play her songs and then play every other top 40 song here. How have you guys kind of approached this with Stormwave or with other events on campus and trying to figure out the best way to approach it?
I'm also
I think the way that we're approaching it currently is kind of trying to take the energy that you see in like a DJ show where it's like something that everybody loves. Like you have like, you know, Party in the USA, like those kind of like songs that like everybody kind of knows. Like I'm trying to think of more, but just being able to make it something that is like feasible and enjoyable for everybody. So like with the DJ show, you like see that higher energy, you see that like that engagement like from those specific songs. And that's kind of like we're moving forward in our spring concert Stormwave, kind of keeping that like in the back of our minds of like we want people like for live artists to be playing those covers, but also their own music and like making it kind of like more of an experience than just, hey, I know Taylor Swift, I want to go to her concert.
100%. Yes. Yeah. I think one of the sentiments I remember from UNE is trying to make like a nightclub experience out of semi-formal here. We're keeping semi-formal as like a luxurious place to go, but not make it a middle school dance. I'm trying to find this balance here of like a high production thing that feels great and is awesome and is attractive, but doesn't quite slip into what we've all been through in 7th grade and all those beautiful memories of all high school dances or middle school dances there. The other piece I want to touch on here before we wrap up is I know you guys talked about like not taking yourself too seriously. And Lily, I think you were the one who brought this up earlier before the camera started rolling here, is this challenge of like trying to be in events and take chances on stuff. And if we take ourselves too seriously, if it was really hard to take these chances and gamble on it, how we kind of navigated that, where it seems like a common challenge that we all face in many different aspects of life. And this is, one platform I can relate to it.
I think that college students in general really feel a lot of judgment from other people, especially like as like APB e-board, we're very visible on campus. Like we're student leaders, we have a lot of involvement. So really being able to just be silly, be vulnerable, I feel like that connects with a lot of people. And that's also the reason that we're kind of good at what we do. We don't, we can do a duck themed event and be happy and excited about it. Because it's not that serious. It's never that serious. And we just want people to enjoy themselves, so we should be enjoying ourselves.
Yes, I think it's also being willing to stand at a booth in the student union and say, hey, come talk to us. Where if you're at the booth sitting down on your phone, no one's coming to your event. Like you have to be willing to go and put yourself out there. Sarah, have you kind of had the same challenge here where it's tough to put yourself out there, but rewarding and successful when you do get to?
Yeah, I was the duck event that she's talking about. That was I planned that one. And it was like just a chance to like have fun because everyone loves, and it was like a make your own duck. Series
cool.
That graded. So it was like people were able to have fun, and so that I got to have fun because I saw everyone happy, so that made me happy. So that's like a nice feeling.
That's beautiful. Help me understand this duck event. I'm wandering off topic here, but I need to know everything about this. Yes, was this how big was it? How many people were involved? Was it stuffing your duck? What other duck activities were involved here?
So it's kind of a campus tradition in a way. We do a yearly duck hunt. So we wanted, or Sarah planned an event to tie into that a little bit. So we did we did duck hunt on the weekend with different like games, prizes, that sort of thing. And then during the week, Sarah set up a DIY duck thing with kits from Amazon and like duck themed boba and like everything ducks. So like
it was like a Ducks and Boba event. So you got to like make your own duck and put like a beanie or something on it. And then you got to go and make your own like boba drink.
I love it. I think it also ties back beautifully to the idea of being vulnerable here of like, that's a scary event to put on. It must have been scary for you to step into the meeting and say, hey guys, I know we do a lot of stuff. This is what I think we should do. We should get ducks and boba.
People love ducks and people love bobas.
Two great things here. We have to be willing to take that chance and make that happen. So I think it's a beautiful example that other people hopefully can learn from here of how we can make people happy in kind of unique and creative ways here. My last question for y'all as we wrap up here. The show here is about making people happy. We love to talk about how campus events can make people happy. I think that's an important way to make people happy. We are so much bigger in life than just campus events here. What are 2 things outside of this world that make y'all happy? So is there a hobby that you're into? Is there a certain activity? Is there a place you like to go? A food you love to eat? What is one thing that makes y'all happy?
I guess one of my things is just like my friends. They've been so supportive and they always go to any events that I plan, and they're always like my big supporter whenever they come, and I'm like, oh my God, you actually did come. And it makes me so happy when they do. Start with us.
It's beautiful. Beautiful to be supported and feel that support. Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little basic here, and I'm gonna say animals.
Yes. Okay.
Often we'll get therapy dogs on campus all the time, and it's always a good I can sit back and relax and just pet a dog. And like anytime I see people like walking their dogs, I'm like, oh my God, it's a puppy. I want to pet it. But
that is
it's a good little bit of happiness for me sometimes.
Absolutely. That's one of our favorite things on campus. We're building events in the quads, often or outside, and we see people walking the dog. We were just at Boston College this past weekend, and there's a couple dogs that we see every time we're there, and they are just heartwarming for our entire team. So yes, can't go wrong, Roberto. Beautiful friends, thank you so much for joining us. We did it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, friends. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to The Happiness Blueprint. Powered by GBM6. It's about making people happy.